Some people may not know this about me, but I have not always been a photographer. In fact, I've had quite a few careers before I got there, and Boop's been along for the ride and still wants to be involved in every project I do. Are we gonna settle? Hey, I'm Leela. I am a commercial photographer here in Sydney, Australia, and I'm here today to talk about the journey that got me here. So I haven't always been a photographer. In fact, I've had a few different careers in my time, a lot of random jobs in between that, and I really do think that they've all, in the end, helped me to become the photographer that I am today. And I think it's a really important lesson for those who are either looking to get into photography or who are wondering what the hell all their jobs have amounted to within the career and their next steps. So let me give you a bit of a history in terms of where I've been and how I've gotten to where I am today. So straight out of school, I actually studied fashion design. It was a first love of mine, something I've always wanted to do. But after completing the qualification, I realized not something I really want to work in. It's a very tough industry to work in, and whilst I do have a love for it, there's a difference between loving something and wanting to work in something. This led to a career in retail, in working in sales and working in marketing. I then moved from that into the makeup world. I worked as a makeup artist on fashion sets, on a lot of music videos, album covers. It was a wild and crazy time. Something that I loved about being a makeup artist was being on set. There were long days, but working with creative crews has been amazing. And if anything, this actually gave me a look at the behind the scenes of working as a photographer. Something that I picked up along the way was doing photography, but for a long time, this was a secret little hobby of mine. I worked with some very renowned photographers, and I thought, gosh, there's no way that I can do this myself. Moved down the track years on. I'm still doing makeup on the side, but I'm also working now as a visual merchandiser. This was something that I got into through my retail and with my combined background of fashion design. So a visual merchandiser works in stores to create the concepts of how the store looks. Everything from dressing your mannequins to how your tables are displayed, how your racks are displayed. I worked with some incredible brands. I worked with Hugo Boss, Max Mara, Australian brands, Country Road and Trenery. I really worked across the mainstream and the more, I guess, established elite brands, I guess you would say in a way. And throughout this career, I built up to the point where I was leading a team of 14 people, indirect team of 300. I had 50 store locations all around Australia and New Zealand, and I was doing a lot of traveling, a lot of coaching, a lot of training and development. And what I learned a lot from these roles was how to manage large-scale teams, how to delegate workloads, how to really train and progress people, how to be an inspiration, how to deal with difficult situations. Quite often I was managing up as much as I was managing down, managing expectations, and a lot of the time working with different creatives. Something I think was really valuable within the visual merchandising world was the learning curve that you have, that not everyone sees everything the same way. Something that you could find visually pleasing, someone else may not. And not the complication, but the skill set that you have to develop to, for one, not take things personally, but also to be able to negotiate the best action going forward is something that I'm incredibly grateful for. It's very delicate, and it was something that I very much learned how to do by taking the emotion out of it, looking back at the facts, and really looking at how is what we're going to do benefiting the brand. And this has been something that's I've really brought into my photography. When I come into my photo shoots and when I'm looking at how this is going to work, I'm not just looking at what makes an image pretty, because as much as we want beautiful images, the point of photography, at least in my world, in advertising, is to sell something. And this is very key, because if something looks beautiful and doesn't sell, we're not doing anything to help the brand out. As I always said to my staff members when I worked in visual merchandising, we're here to make money, we're not a gallery. So as much as this needs to look beautiful, if it is not selling, it's got to go. And it's a great way to take the emotions out of what could be something that is quite personal when you're doing visual merchandising or makeup or fashion design or photography. It can be a reflection of you, and it can be something that can be really personal and can be hard to take away when you get criticism that it's not about you, it's about the brand, it's about how we're making money. So this is something that I've really taken into my photography. As much as the aesthetics are incredibly important, what's more important is how is this image going to translate and make the brand money? And that's a really fine balance, and it's a balance between taking your ideas and creating them in a commercial way. You know, at the end of the day, if you're looking to work in the advertising space, you need to consider how this image will make the brand money. And that's something that is incredibly important. You want to be able to track your returns, or the marketing company to track the returns on investment. So this was a skill that I definitely utilize now in my photography. Another skill that I've really used from all the way from fashion design to makeup to photography is way back in fashion design, we did a lot of work around color theory. So what are complementary colors? What are contrasting colors? This very much translated into my visual merchandising and also into my photography has been such an asset, knowing the differences in colors and how they can make a person feel, how they can tell a story in such a subtle way, as well as the ways in which we can enhance or take away, make more subtle, I would say would be the better word. A story is incredibly important. Things such as, you know, bringing contrasting colors, such as blue and orange opposite on the color wheel, will give a real strong contrast, which can be a really visually striking image. However, there may be times where you don't want that contrast. So for me, I'm thinking about when I'm adding elements into a scene that aren't the product hero itself. I'm then considering, okay, we want to add an element to the scene, but we don't want it to distract from the product. So let's think about our colors. Can we do colors that are a similar colorway, close to one another, so they create a nice cohesive look? So what we're really paying attention to is the product, and that's the hero within the image. So color theory has been so fundamental with how I use my photography. Finally, the other thing that's come through from fashion to makeup as well has always been working on set from the other side of the lens. What I love about my experience is I, coming from a makeup background, know how to direct a makeup artist and give them that feedback because I've been there. I know what I'm looking for when I'm looking through the lens. You know, it's something that I can really keep an eye on. From fashion design, I know how to work with models, I know what I'm looking for with styling, so again that means I can direct a stylist on set, or if I need be, handle it myself. The different skills that we pick up along the way, you don't always know if they're going to have a direct link, and I guess in one sense I am lucky that all of my fields have intertwined within each other. But the great thing about doing these different careers is that you do pick up different skill sets that when you come to pick up a camera, you don't realize how many things you've learned along the way. All of these translate to making you more comfortable behind the camera, making you be able to direct people in an easier way, and really making you feel like you can take on the whole project rather than just having a specialty that makes you really narrow and niche. I cannot recommend enough trying different things, getting in different parts of the world of photography, getting behind the lens in different ways, working with teams, and building your confidence, maybe not even within the creative world, but in a different world, and seeing how that can translate into your work that it is now.